Hello there, YouTube. Devin here again, and today I have another knife review for you. This knife is actually kind of a knife that isn't super well known in the world, despite the fact that they're relatively common, but it actually incorporates one of the very recent kind of innovations in the knife world. It was invented in 2001, actually, and it was kind of a mathematic ergonomic geometry thing done with the blade of the knife. So, for those of you who don't know, the Stiletto is one of the best combat knives in the world, just basically by its point. Its long, thin blade gives it the ability to reach vital organs quite well, but the blades are known to be quite fragile. So what I have right here is a knife that is designed by a man by the name of Brent Beshara, or however he wants to pronounce it. And he invented something called the Besh Wedge, which is a tip design for stiletto-type combat knives that allows you to have a much stronger tip, a much thicker blade, and still achieve a lot of the same stabbing potential of a normal stiletto-type knife. I'll show you here. So we have, this is a Fairbairn Sykes fighting knife. This is an actual British issue one, as you can see. Very long, thin blade, okay, meant to reach vital organs quite well, be quite handy in the hand. But the tip on it, as you can see, is quite narrow and thin, and this one is actually already bent at the tip, which is quite common to happen with these stiletto type knives, because as you can see, the blade is actually quite thin. And a lot of stiletto combat knives seem to have that problem, but I really like stiletto combat knives because they tend to be kind of small, handy, light, and very easy to use. They pack quite well. They tend to not get in the way. So what initially appealed me to this design is, as you can see, the blade is much thicker. It's actually a 1/4 inch thick. This is made out of tool steel, and it is flat ground only on one side of the blade on each side of the knife. So as you can see, it's unlike this one, which is kind of this diamond pattern. It is much thicker because you're leaving much more metal on each side of the blade. So as you can see, this whole top part isn't milled out on this side. It's only sharpened on one edge on each side of the blade, creating this kind of cool rhombus shape in the blade. And then at the tip, as you can see, it has got a second edge up here at the tip that is the opposite on both sides, which creates this kind of chisel tip, but it allows it to be much sharper. So it stays sharp and it keeps the tip much stronger, which is very, very cool, I think anyways. A very good innovation as far as knives go in the knife world. So, and as you can see, you don't really have to worry about damaging the tip with a stiletto type knife blade like this, because I just wedged it into a pretty solid piece of wood and there is actually no tip damage. Whereas if I was to take this Fairbairn Sykes knife, for one, you don't get as much deep penetration, and I've actually already kind of bent the tip on this one, and they were very well known for breaking off. A lot of the stiletto type knives tend to be broken because of this blade geometry of all the older ones. This being the Fairbairn Sykes, all three models had problems with the blades, the tips of the blades breaking off. The very famous American V42 stiletto, used by the 1st Special Service Force, tended to be the same thing. And to show you that kind of cool innovation, I have a potato here, which has sprouted, despite the fact I only bought them 2 days ago, because Idaho's trying to F me. It's kind of one of those states that I put in the top 5 of like worst states in the United States. Sorry if you're from Idaho, but the thing that you're known for, you can't even get right. Just saying. I'm just messing around. You guys are fine. Potatoes just do that all the time. I am a little upset that I bought these 2 days ago and they already sprouted though. But we're going to just stab through this potato and kind of see how easy it is. Still actually a really firm potato. It's just sprouted. So we're going to start with the Fairbairn Sykes, and with just minimal pressure. And a potato is much sturdier than human flesh is. This is actually a fairly fresh potato. It's not rotten at all. And it goes through pretty easy with minimal effort. It comes out with minimal effort too. And so we're going to see if this blade geometry makes it worse at stabbing than the traditional diamond pattern of blade for the stiletto type combat knife. So this rhombused kind of Besh Wedge tip knife, we'll see if it works. Flip the potato around to get a nice fresh piece, and we're gonna hold it just like we normally would, how it suggests we would, and pushing in. It's actually much easier, surprisingly, than the diamond shape. And it has this kind of weird, because of this tip, I don't know if you noticed that, when I started pushing in and it started catching, it naturally wanted to twist, which actually kind of helped create space for the rest of the blade shape to slide in, which is a really, really, really neat feature, and I'm quite a fan of stuff like that. So, pretty neat knife. For those of you who are interested, this is the Besh Wedge made by Case. There's actually quite a lot of other, I think, better combat knives that incorporate the Besh Wedge type tip that you can get made by Spartan Knives. There's a lot of, like, Arizona Custom Knives has made a lot of very amazing combat knives that have this tip incorporated into it with much nicer sheaths and everything like that. Nothing really against Case, but their knife quality isn't quite as good as it used to be, I think, and I've actually been a pretty big fan of Case knives and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this type of video and you're into this type of thing and you like these kind of knives, because I don't know about you, I hopefully have hopefully gotten away a lot of people from believing in that the K-bar is the best combat knife in the world, because the K-bar isn't a great combat knife, actually. A lot of people don't seem to understand that. It's a really good utility knife, and that was kind of the purpose of the K-bar. If you have to fight with it, you can, but it's more of a utility knife, you know, for making splints, for cooking with, for chopping with, for making matchsticks and stuff out of, for starting a fire. It's much better for purposes like that than it is for fighting, whereas these are from the ground up designed to kill people first, and that's basically the only thing they're good at, is killing people. And that's kind of the thing I like about the Stiletto. It's a single purpose knife and it's really good at its one purpose. So hopefully you like this type of video. You subscribe if you like this sort of thing. I plan on doing more of this stuff here in the future. I'm going to go throw away this bag of potatoes and stuff like that, and then hopefully go pick my car up from the shop. If you think I'm worth $1 on Patreon, it all goes back into supporting the channel and everything cool like that. There's a lot of neat stuff coming here in the future and everything like that, because I probably should spend some of my money at some point and everything like that. So, and $1, which is cheaper than most YouTubers charge, it gets you into the Discord for a month. And then if you choose to have a recurring Patreon thing for $1 a month, so $12 a year, you're allowed to be in the Patreon for a whole year. There's a lot of really, really good people in there. I learn a lot from them. And it's also Patreon members get to ask me questions, show me pictures, everything like that. If they have trouble identifying something, that's really the only way I could do it now. If you need help finding something, I'm more than willing to help you find something, stuff like that. That's a service that I provide to my Patreon members, because one of the #1 comments I get is, where did you get it? Sorry, if Google can't help you, I can't help you. Sorry, that's just how it is. So don't ask me that in the comments. But if you're a Patreon member, I'm more than willing to help you because you've decided to help me. So thank you all for watching, and hopefully I can see you all over here in the next video. Bye-bye now.